following podcast is recorded and produced by the Podcast Precinct in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com. The Podcast Precinct. Consistency, creativity, culture.
The Nostalgia Funhouse proudly dedicates all episodes in the loving memory of Connie Chirac. So, Johnny, I've been hearing really great things about this Nostalgia Funhouse. It just brings back so many great memories.
Andrew, the only reason I'm moving in line with you here is that you really vouched for this show. So I'm just going to believe you that this is the show that I've been wanting, which is just talking about all the fun stuff from our yesteryear and the years before. And I really hate anything meta, so I'm glad that what we're doing right now is not that.
Oh, no, definitely. What is meta? Isn't that Ron Artest's new name?
Well, add World and Peace to it, sure.
Yeah, but this is great. They last year they were tearing play sets and Halloween costumes.
Well, that sounds cool.
They get these weird court recordings from pop culture courts.
Does anybody care about court cases?
These ones are kind of cool. They put Scott Kelvin on trial. Poor old Santa Claus there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, man. You know what's the best part about this is though? Is I hear they always got a really great sponsor. You can check it out right there.
What's the matter, Wilbur?
They changed my Coke.
Something wrong with it?
I know, but they sure changed it.
Coulda asked.
What coulda? I stuck with them through 3 wars and a couple of dust storms, but this is too much. Guess something big made them change.
Right, big.
Right big. Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
Still coulda asked.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another wonderful, awesome episode of, as I'm going to say it all the time, the #1 podcast on the BICBP radio network, named the Nostalgia Funhouse. And you can guess the name already, the Nostalgia Funhouse. I'm your host, Andrew Lenz, and joining me always is my best friend and co-host, Mr. Jammin' Johnny Townsend, because the first time I heard Johnny Townsend as a name, I was like, that would be an awesome radio DJ name to be Jammin' Johnny Townsend.
I'll take it, Andrew. And on top of that, let me just take hold on, I'm just really thirsty. Oh my God.
Are you?
Ooh, that was refreshing. A refreshing drink of diet soda, because I'm old, and if I drink soda, it has to at least be diet now. I am rapidly, by the end of this month, Andrew, hitting 40. So I got to be more careful with that. I can't just, this is the truth. I've not had a sugar drink in, oh God, it's been years now, because I just really tried to cut it out. Mm-hmm. And then one time when I was at a friend's house and they were like, hey, it was like a party or something. So they only had, I can't remember which soda it was, but it was just like the regular soda, and I couldn't drink it because it was just it was like the sugar just smashed me in the face. I was like, I'm old now. Is this what old is? It is.
I had a hypochondriac dad kind of growing up, and I used to love Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi growing up. And he would flip out because of the NutraSweet? Was it NutraSweet?
NutraSweet or something? Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
He heard something on the news that it caused cancer, and he was like, "You can't drink that stuff. Here, take the stuff with the real sugar in it." Which, what's the difference now?
Much healthier.
Yeah, what's the difference now? But anytime he'd tell my mom, he'd be like, he's drinking that diet stuff. And she's like, yeah, that's just what he likes to drink. Oh, he's got NutraSweet. I just remember I always liked the little NutraSweet logo because it looked like sweet candy.
I don't think they use that anymore. I think it's something else now.
Aspartame or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. But side note, when it comes to the name Johnny Townsend, I'm not the only quote unquote famous Johnny Townsend, though I would argue I'm on the same level of famous as the punter for a football player, because he's a punter. I don't know if he still plays. I just know there was a football player named Johnny Townsend, and he was a punter.
let's see. If
Are you looking it up?
Yeah, of course I'm gonna look this up. No. Last time he played was 2000, was last year, 2021.
See, yeah, yeah.
Played
What
for the
team?
Kansas
What team
City,
did he pump for? Kansas
uh,
City. Okay.
Kansas City Chiefs. He was
Yeah.
signed to the practice squad on my birthday
There
in
we go.
2021.
Yeah. See, I would argue I'm as famous as that guy.
Do you have a brother named Tommy? He has
I
a
do
brother
not.
named
I only
Tommy.
have a sister. Yeah.
Wait, is Tommy a punter too? Tommy, Tommy is a punter.
All runs in the family.
All I'm thinking about is like, yeah, my sons are in the NFL. What do they do? They're punters, both of
No, you
them.
just go. They play football.
Yeah,
But I would also argue that the name of the game is football, and they're the only ones doing something appropriate.
true, true, true,
When it comes to the name.
true.
But what are we talking about today, Andrew? Something really fun, I think.
Yes, we are talking about the documentary Pepsi, Where's My Jet? Off of the famous, I couldn't believe, I thought it was like earlier 90s when they played that commercial, but I guess it was later in the 90s with the classic, kid lands his Harrier
Yeah.
jet plane, and if you send in 7 million Pepsi points,
Yeah.
you can get yourself a plane.
Yeah. So, this is about, it's a documentary on Netflix, and it's about that time in the 90s when Pepsi was really trying to wrap up their share of the soda game.
Yep.
And they were like, let's do a contest. A lot of businesses do this. And I definitely remember this. I remember the commercial too, the very famous commercial. But I certainly remember trying to collect Pepsi points, Andrew, so I could get like a Pepsi hat or something like that. I can't remember what I got. I think it was a Pepsi hat. But each drink had quote unquote points on it, and you save those up. And there was a catalog, and you could send off for something in the catalog, and that was the gist of it. But on the commercial, they go through a lot of stuff you can actually get, like hey, here's a hat for, and they show the points, how many Pepsi points you need for it underneath. But then the very end, the kid lands he's in a jet, and he lands it at his school, and it goes like Harrier Jet, like 7 million points or something like that, some astronomical point number. So the gist of the documentary, just to give it a gist of it, is this kid, and this is a true story, this young guy found a way to actually get these points and earned enough for this Harrier jet. There's a lot of little nuance there that I'm sure we'll get into when it comes to actually doing that, and how much money he and his buddy actually spent to do this. So I would also argue that they were probably, in my opinion, they were trying to get the jet to sell the jet, right? Because why would you? They claimed they did. I think they said they didn't want to do that, but like you're wasting, to me, a giant number even just to get the jet.
Well, I mean, to kind of go with the story is the kid came up with the idea.
Yeah.
What is it? He's not even a kid anymore.
No, he's a full-blown adult.
I think his name was John Leonard.
He was in college. I know that when he came up with this, I think.
Yeah, and he met a kind of just a free spirited type of guy, had money, and he was
a business owner, right? His buddy, I think, owned a business. Yeah.
And he was telling him about it, and I love this part where he's like, he was more of like a mentor, and he was like, okay, give me a business plan.
Right. Yeah.
How we're going to get this jet, cost, and what we're actually going to do with it. Because one of the stipulations was, because they knew that there was going to be probably some blowback on this, is that, like you said, why not just sell it? But you can't just sell it because you're like, oh. So he was like, oh, we'll do rides. And he's like, but it's a one passenger plane.
Yeah.
we can't do that. He was like, well, we'll take it to air shows. We'll, charge air shows money, and we'll do it that way. And then he was like, okay. And I think it came out to like $3 million or something like that, because it would have to, the best way to do it is to buy Pepsi by the case and then get the points from there. And you would have to kind of pay people to pick up all the stuff, remove all the points. And then plus two, what are you going to do with all that Pepsi?
Yeah.
Not.
So he found a workaround. The workaround was that you could actually get these points without getting Pepsi if you like was it like an address you mail to say, hey, give me these points or something like that?
Yeah, it was 10 cents a point.
Yeah. So they figured out how much money they needed. It was over 100 grand. I know that. I can't remember the exact number, but they spent over 100 grand, I think it was, to get these points, to get enough points for this. But if you're looking at this as an investment, like a Harrier Jet, like costs millions. So in that aspect, you're making money if it happens.
It wasn't,
But yeah,
and I think they were saying that to get a Harrier Jet, you had to buy it in like sets of 6. Like you could, like the government, obviously the government can't be like, one Harrier Jet, please. Let's just make this.
You can't go to the counter of America of the American Army and be like, hey, I just would like one Harrier Jet, please.
Just
Hold the guns,
just
because you're not
one-
obviously you're not allowed to. A civilian's not allowed to have an armed jet.
Yes, because that was one of the stupid. I think he said he was trying to call the Pentagon to see if
Yes,
civilian could even
yes.
own.
I like that he's like, I could just call the Pentagon and somebody will answer my questions.
They're like, yeah, you could have one. You just can't have missiles or, any of the weaponry that goes with it. But why can't some guy just own a jet?
Well, they bound to scrap them from time to time, right? Because they get old. I mean, that's what they do with Navy boats and ships.
Yeah, I think and then also what they do is, from my understanding, is they'll sell them off to other countries.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I guess right now we're doing something with like Ukraine where it's like leasing and
and
renting, and then they just pay us back later. I don't know. I heard about that, and I guess we did the same thing with Britain, and Britain just finally paid us off in 2020 from World War II of doing that. So
yeah. Well, yeah, and but it's a pretty fascinating tale. The heart of the issue is if you see something on a commercial and it does at the beginning tell you, hey, this part is obviously a joke, this is a farce. Do they owe you that if you've earned it?
that is
it false advertising if they don't?
And I think that was the point that they were trying to prove throughout this. I guess Pepsi, after the guy wrote the check, I think he even put in like shipping and handling. I can't remember. I think he put in an extra $300 or something.
Shipping and handling for a jet.
And so he did that.
Can you imagine the box that thing comes in?
Oh yeah. I better not say some assembly required.
Yeah, that thing better be bubble wrapped to the corner.
Got to put on your own decals. But Pepsi, after they did this, they just sent of what I think it was like coupons for like 2 free cases.
Yes,
of Pepsi.
Which to be fair is a slap in the face because you just spent over 100 grand. And they're like, hey, here's 2 free cases of Pepsi.
There you go, buddy.
This is very similar, Andrew. This is literally just in the news. I saw it, I think either yesterday or the day before. This woman was at a casino. I want to say Vegas, but maybe I'm just assuming that. But she was at a casino and she was playing one of the slot machines, and she won like 30 or 40. I don't remember the number, but it was in the millions. And the casino came back and said, "Oh, the machine was faulty. We're not going to pay you that. Here's a free steak dinner."
No, give me that. I want that.
Yeah. Yeah, you shove that. I mean, I like steak. Don't get me wrong, but you can shove that steak right up your beehole.
If you're giving me like steak dinner for life, like me,
that's
another
different.
person for life, or
we don't even know if it's good steak. To be fair,
yeah, but at this point in time, for me, anything. I'm at the point of my life where I tell people if it's free, it's for me. So
yeah. Free is right. Free, honestly, is the only thing right now that fits my budget perfectly.
Yeah, where I'm at too.
Yeah, we famously can't get the Ghost of Mr. Chicken. So,
no. So if it's free,
so we are inching closer to it. Thank you, Patreons. Go to our Patreon, check it out real quick.
Yeah,
but so that's, to me, is the more interesting part of this is the whole what's false advertising and what isn't. And because I remember seeing this commercial when I was younger. This came out, I would have been like in my early teens, I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, obviously, I'm not going to get a jet, right? Like I knew just looking at it that that's a joke, but I also think since the original airing of the commercial that they didn't put under that because this wouldn't happen today,
Mhm.
and I think it's because of this commercial, honestly. But they didn't put under that. Hey, this part obviously there's no Harrier jet.
Because
You
they
know?
ended up what re-editing it.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
re-edited it like twice. Once with the disclaimer.
And once with like an even bigger number for the
Yeah.
jet, I think. Yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
told him, they were like, "Hey, just make it like a nice number." And he's like, "Don't you think we should have like one of the ad executives are like, don't you think we should have something?" And they're like, "Nah, nobody's gonna believe." But there's always that one person though
Always. Yeah.
that is gonna take it to the limit and do it that way. And they, because of the whole Pepsi thing, Pepsi did offer them $1 million in a settlement,
Yes.
and he was like,
Which
"Nope, I wanna take this farther."
I see where I think he messed up is I think he could have negotiated and got a little more money for the settlement. And that's what he should have done. But here's a spoiler alert. The outcome is they got nada
Yeah.
because they went to court over it. And I will say the judge was obviously going to vote for Pepsi no matter. It's what it seemed like to me that the judge was going to be pro Pepsi in this case, no matter what. It did seem that way. But also, you got to realize this any documentary you watch, even if they try to be fair and impartial and interview everybody, they always have sort of a slant to them. And this one was obviously slanted towards the guy. I mean, they did interview a lot of the Pepsi people to get their side of it, but you definitely came out of this. If you watch it, you really feel for the guy.
Yeah, they ran John Leonard, and then what was the one guy that they had too? I can't even say his name. Michael Avatelli, who was also
Yeah, yes.
working there, but they filmed segments of it.
What was the lawyer's name that they got? He's like a controversial figure.
That's the
now.
Michael guy.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. He's
says-
actually a very famous lawyer.
It says
now.
right here that he had to film segments while under house arrest for
Yes.
attempt extortion, because he's the one that started the whole smear campaign and doing everything else. And by that point,
Yeah.
the kind of the investor mentor, he backed out. He was like, "I'm done with this guy."
He didn't like the lawyer guy. He didn't like this. He didn't want to go negative. And to me, out of all the characters, he's the one I like the most was that guy.
He seemed the most authentic. Like, okay,
Yeah.
let's see what we can do, but let's not go.
And he just seemed like he was just wanting to be a really good mentor to the younger guy.
What did you
Like
think about? Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say real quick, the real heart of the whole. I mean, me and you were talking about this before we hit record. The real meat of it is their relationship between them two.
Mhm.
They have a really strong friendship, and that's by far the best part. But also, this, like you said, it's a 4-part series, and it could have been easily just like an hour and a half long thing.
What did you think about the Pepsi situation in the Philippines? That's the one thing I wanted.
Yes, see, I had known about that just because I used to do this show called History Creeps.
Oh.
And I would always look into weird, strange things or odd things that I'd kind of get a whiff of. I would look into them. And in the Philippines, when was it? I don't remember when this was. It was before this contest, though, that we're talking about.
I think it was like late 80s, early 90s.
That sounds right. But in the Philippines, Pepsi was trying to get a hold in there. So they ran this contest where it sounds like an easy contest, right? Like you buy a bottle of Pepsi and you look under the lid and it'll tell you if you're a winner or not. That's literally what it was. But they had messed up when they were making these lids, because what you want to do is like make maybe one lid out of a million lids, but they made multiple lids. So there were multiple winners of this thing. And this caused, I mean, Pepsi wasn't going to pay it. They said, hey, this is a mistake. And Philippines is a lot of areas in the Philippines are not well off financially. So this was a big deal for them. And they rioted. I think some people actually, there was violence. Some people were hurt, and I think some were even killed or something like that during these. It was a very wild thing. So Pepsi is kind of a dirty word down there.
Yeah, it was. You had to find number 3.
Oh, that's what it was. Those
349.
numbers. Yeah, it was numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, 349. I think like half, like there was just tons of people. When I was looking this up, you could actually buy one of the bottle caps on
Yeah.
eBay, but you could win, what is it, 1,000,000 pesos or something,
Yeah.
which isn't
Uh,
huge, but for those, like you said, for the
yeah,
Philippines, that's life changing
for
money.
me in my current,
Yeah.
for us, Andrew, it's a big deal. But I think that their solution was also a slap in the face. I don't remember what they offered all these people,
The
but it
same
was
thing they offered
was it 2 cases of
Leonard
Pepsi?
there, 2 cases of Pepsi, a free
All
Pepsi.
right, we're gonna later on in this episode, we're gonna do like a special tiering of soda. I am a Pepsi guy. I do prefer. I like Coke, but I prefer. I'll drink either one, but
Yeah,
I prefer Pepsi over Coke, just personally. I
I
like
prefer.
them both, but it's but it's just funny to me. We're like, hey, we know you're really upset with us. Here's some Pepsi.
Here's more Pepsi, even though you hate us. Maybe you want something of the product that you hate.
Yeah.
But like you said, he ended up not get. He wasn't awarded the plane. He didn't get anything. Uh, Probably the coolest thing out of this, in a way, though, from that is that this is in case law. Like
Yeah.
you study this in law school. This Leonard versus PepsiCo Inc. You study it in law school, and people actually debate: should he have gotten the jet? Should he have not gotten the jet?
Yeah.
And I think that's
It kind of goes either way to me. What do you let's just pull it down, Andrew. Do you think he should have gotten the jet or gotten a lot of money for it? What do you think?
I think I
I
think
don't think
that's how
I
you
don't
got to
think it's
look
cut
at
and
it.
dry.
Either you give him, I know he kind of screwed himself by not saying taking the $1,000,000. You should at least give him something worth around the jet, maybe a little bit less,
Yeah.
a higher number, or the jet, because
Yeah.
you made the mistake at one point.
Yeah, it was it I kind of lean with you here because the heart of the issue is Pepsi messed up.
Yeah,
I mean, even if you know that it's a farce, that this is a joke, which I think it's obviously a joke. I do think it's obviously a joke they put in there. No,
oh yeah.
you don't expect any kid to be like, "Hey, I'm gonna get this jet."
I mean, how did that kid get his pilot license, anyways?
Yeah, yeah. It
Commercial.
doesn't make this whole thing is a farce, Andrew. The whole thing is a slap in reality's face. But Pepsi did not put a little legal thing under there, and so that to me is on them.
It is.
They messed up there, so it's not the kid's fault that they didn't do that. I say kid, but he just calls everybody under 40 now is young to me.
Yeah. Well,
He was in college
still,
at the time.
yeah, he's still a kid at this point. So
Yeah.
also, this is kind of in that same area, and I know they kind of mentioned it in the McDonald's coffee thing,
Yes.
that it's common sense, but you can almost get at a company because they didn't put something in, and then you're like, oh, we're gonna catch this in this like loophole.
Well, do you know the full story of that coffee thing? I do.
Didn't she like intentionally like?
No. It was a grandmother. She was with her grandson, and and it was breakfast time, so they ordered coffees. And I can't remember if she had spilt it or she had it on her lap or something. Either way, it spilled on her, and it literally caused. I can't remember what the burns were on her skin. It was like 3rd degree. It was ridiculous burns where she did legit have to go to the hospital. She had to have what's that called, skin grafts or something like that. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
They had to, like, her skin was it was really really messed up burns, and the original lawsuit was just to cover her medical bills.
she got
But they made her out to be the villain because they're like, hey, this lady, that's all you hear. The joke, because it was a joke on all the late night shows and stuff. This lady's suing because the coffee was hot. That's all you hear. But there's way more to it than that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Coffee should be at a certain temperature, it looks like, and then
Yeah. Because I think everybody knows coffee's hot. Unless you get
Coffee's
like one
hot.
of those, let's get one of those frozen monstrosities. But I don't like coffee at all. So all of it's
I live off
garbage to me.
coffee.
my dad drinks coffee when it's like 100 degrees outside because he's just a coffee guy.
Yeah, I can't. Morning, and then
Yeah.
midday if I need that little pick me up to get me going throughout the day.
Yeah. I just don't like the taste of it. The taste just doesn't do anything
Oh,
for me.
I'm like the hazelnut creamer in there. I can't drink.
I'm in the minority here, so I understand. Coffee's a big deal. But yeah, so I think we're both in agreement here over this. Pepsi really got off pretty easy here, I think, despite all the publicity that this caused and stuff, considering that they didn't even have to provide a jet or really. I mean, the only thing they paid for was the court costs, I would assume.
Yeah.
And that's something any of these humongous corporations are just going to, like, that's just figured into stuff for them. Because if you're a big name, everybody, I mean, you're going to have to deal with lawsuits and stuff all the time.
Did you get any Pepsi stuff? Because I never got. I collected them.
know I did. I try to remember if it was like a hat or a fanny pack or something like that. Something small like that. I don't remember exactly what it was.
I got the list here. It's various items that included it from the Pepsi stuff catalog. So if you had a Pepsi cup, that was 1 point. A 2 liter, can you guess how many points?
For a 2-liter Pepsi?
Yeah,
I'm going to 5 points.
2 points.
That's better. Honestly, I was hoping it wasn't 5 because that seems a lot for a 2-liter.
5 points for a 12-pack.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
And I don't know why there's a phone card. Oh yeah, it's the late 90s. Phone card
But
for
you're talking
35 points.
You're talking to the guy when McDonald's did the Monopoly game. I got excited over getting free fries.
Yeah. I never thought about winning the $1 million.
I never did either. I was like, I hope I get a free fry or a burger out of this. That was always what I was hoping for.
I'm kind of like with this. Like I just wanted the free drink.
Yeah.
For some of these where it's like, oh, okay. And then you're like, oh, I'm gonna put it here, and then sometimes you like forget it or something like that, and you're like,
Yeah.
man, Tim Hortons. It's
Yes, yeah.
Northeast. They have roll up the rim to win, and that's like the big thing. You can win cars and stuff like that, but most of the time you're looking for like the free donut or the free medium large.
Because I always assume that the major prizes are it's very lucky to remotely get those. So I'm just looking for, hey, I love when McDonald's does a Monopoly game just because I'm like, hey, I got a chance for me to get some free food out of this.
And thanks to the FBI, you got a chance to win more now.
That's right. Yeah. That's another documentary that we highly recommend. There's a McDonald's when they first did the Monopoly game documentary that's really, really good. Because there was a whole what would you call that, scam involved there.
Yeah. So the lowest was the phone card for 35 points. The highest, obviously, other than the jet, was a mountain bike for 3,300 points.
Yeah, so that makes sense to me. Like a mountain bike, I bet it looked cool, but I bet that's, if you think about that, that's still a lot of Pepsi. That's an expensive bike, really.
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
because what, 10 cents for a point? So you're spending $330 even back then.
Yeah,
That's
which I know bikes today get expensive, but I don't remember them being like that back then.
no, not at the lovely Walmart or find the cheap bike at Toys R Us. I'm trying to find like images of Pepsi bike, but have a feeling like it's just gonna be some guy making a bike.
With Pepsi on it,
Yeah.
or out of Pepsi lids.
Or I'll get a picture of CM Punk on a bike showing his Pepsi tattoo. But I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. This guy, he took a shot and
Yeah, I don't blame him for it. Like he saw a little thing there, and he had the resources because he had his buddy in the pocket. Like he had the resources for it. Because I would never even think about even doing that today, even if I was like, hey, I think I can legally get this, just because I know I couldn't afford the court costs. And I know Pepsi knows that I can afford these court costs.
Yeah, Pepsi's like, nope, sorry.
Yeah.
But do you want to get into?
That's why, real quick, that's why I can't wait for our show to get some sort of cease and desist from somebody. That way I feel like we're big shots now.
Yeah, probably get that soon.
Yeah. All right, yeah, let's do it, Andrew. We're gonna do I have here like a list of the best-selling soft drinks from quote unquote sources across the web, it says. We're going to go through these, and we're going to do a quick tier list. Like a top, middle, and bottom, or bottle, as I accidentally said earlier. Bottle being which bottle should be the top, because that's my favorite. Well, actually, let's do this real quick, Andrew. Soda.
Do you prefer glass bottles?
I do.
Okay.
I love them. Yeah. Glass bottles is my ultimate fave because they're rare now on top of that. But I would say fountain is just under that for me. And then I would go bottle, then can. I think.
See, I would go glass bottle.
Yeah.
Then fountain.
Same.
Can,
Yep.
then like plastic bottle.
I think I might be changing that just because, like you, my hands are what they used to be. I got terrible arthritis in them, and I can't even make a fist, just so everybody knows. That's how bad mine are. So opening a bottle is actually getting tougher and tougher for me, as sad as that sounds. And I can get a can open pretty easy.
Yeah, I don't know, something about the taste in the plastic bottle. It's just not.
I get it. I 100% get it. I think that's why I like the glass bottle. It just tastes better, and the fountain drinks to me just taste better.
Yeah,
because you don't have to deal with anything.
Fountains are amazing. I love the local Walmart gas station for 79 cents, any size fountain drink. You can't.
I mean, again, we're talking about McDonald's. I mean, the fountain sodas are amazing. Yeah. All right, so let's do this, Andrew.
Okay.
All right. Let's start with the two big ones. Coca-Cola.
That's a top tier.
I mean, it is for me too.
Yeah.
Even their advertising's top tier for me. I mean, I love the Coca-Cola Christmas bears. That's one of my favorite things. Pepsi, obviously number 2. What are we doing here? I think it's top tier as well.
It's a top tier because it's kind of like it's the Rolling Stones, Beatles of soft drinks there.
Agreed completely. All right, here's my mom's favorite drink, Mountain Dew.
Oh, that's top tier. Especially if it's Diet Mountain Dew. Diet Mountain Dew, I feel, is better than regular Mountain Dew.
Well, we're gonna get into the diet versions of these as well.
But yeah, that's a top tier for me.
This is a personal thing. That's always, I don't think she drinks them as much now, but it was like my mom's ultimate favorite soda, especially growing up. We always had Mountain Dew. When I wanted soda, it was almost always that. And I think I just got tired of it. So it does nothing for me now. So I will say, from a pop culture standpoint, it's top tier. But for me personally, I'm putting it in the bottom. Or the bottle. I'm putting it in the bottle point.
There's so much you can do with Mountain Dew too now that they just.
Oh, there's all kinds of. There are really fun flavors. Like I remember really enjoying the Code Red or whatever it was version of it.
The Taco Bell Baja Blast, that was a big deal. I was at Sam's Club a couple of weeks ago, and they're like, "Try our new Mountain Dew flavor, only at Sam's Club." I'm like, "Sam's Club exclusive Mountain Dew? This is crazy."
There's a lot of places that have exclusive versions of Mountain Dew. That's pretty cool. I will say that's pretty cool. But
Sam's Club, come on.
All right, next one is Sprite. This Sprite's top tier for me.
Yeah, I've been drinking a lot of Sprite lately.
That's my all-time favorite soda. I think is Sprite.
I find it to be refreshing more than
I do too.
What the other ones are.
Yep.
And you might hear two different types of the country here, because I'm gonna probably say pop.
Yeah, I've always I'm a southerner born. Yeah, I'm a southerner, so it's always been called. It's either called soda or it's all called Coke. Even if you mean Pepsi, it's still called Coke. It's kind of like the Nintendo video games, I guess, type of thing where all video games are called Nintendo, no matter what. All right, Dr. Pepper.
See, I'm just
Dr. Pepper. It's tough for me.
I'm a huge pop drinker, so I'm gonna put that in the middle because I gotta kind of be in the mood for it now.
Same. I think if I don't have it a lot and then I have it, I love it. But so I'm going to do. But I do have to be like, I got a hankering for a Dr. Pepper, so I'm with you. My favorite.
Once again, the diet I feel. Maybe I'm turning into like you are. The diet I feel is better than the regular.
A diet Dr. Pepper is one of the closest to the original, I think, of all the diets. Yeah. Speaking of diet Coke.
Ooh, that's a middle. Not a big fan. If it's more or less if it's there.
Yeah. I'm going to say a Diet Coke from McDonald's is top tier. Like that is That's one of my. I love a Diet Coke from McDonald's. Diet Coke in a can, I would say, is middle to top for me. Like I understand where you're coming from there. Yeah. Let's go with orange Fanta.
Orange Fanta now.
Yeah,
See,
that's good stuff.
you have to specify which orange. It could be Sunkiss. It could. Oh man, orange Fanta. Orange Fanta. I'm gonna say top tier because that is really good stuff.
Yeah, I really love it. It's almost a dessert for me. Yeah. 7 Up.
7-Up's up there with Sprite. It's
I think so too. And you get less 7 Up because Sprite is just so big when it comes to that type of soda. So I do look forward to getting a 7 Up because you just don't get them as much. Well, for me, again, when I say these drinks, it's always diet or the zero versions of them for me.
yeah, no, I like 7-Up. 7-Up's
All right, what about root beer? Just as root beer in general here.
root beer in general. See, that's hard because
I think it depends on the root beer.
depends on the brand. Like,
Yeah, agreed.
I am big on Bart's.
I
If we were doing it, I would put Bart's over A&W because
I agree completely. I don't mind an A&W root beer. I think it's fine, but the other one just to me is just better.
what's the other one? The IBC root beer or something like that.
Yes, yeah.
That's
I don't
top,
see those as
that's top tier. And then when I lived in New York, there was some place, Scarlet or something type root beer.
Yeah.
And that stuff was like really good. My kids turned into like alcoholics with that one, where like a six pack didn't last like a day in the house. And you're like, dude, who drank all this? They're like, oh, I did. And it's just nothing but bottles around them. But
Yeah.
I think, yeah, Bart's, A&W, and then kind of goes down from there. IBC, obviously, but that's a fancy. If you could only buy it in a 6-pack, I don't think you can count it. So Bart's and then A&W for me.
All right, Diet Pepsi. That's top tier for me.
That's top tier. There's nothing better than a fountain drink Diet Pepsi. Kind of like you with
Agreed.
your Diet Coke.
No, I agree here.
And
Yeah.
it's got to be cold. It's the only one I could drink all of these probably pretty warm room temperature.
Yeah.
Diet Pepsi and Diet Coke are kind of in the same boat where it's got to be like ice cold and there's nothing better.
Yes, agreed. All right, now we're going to go with Orange Sunkissed. This is again top tier for me.
Yeah.
Mellow Yellow.
I've only really had that like once. So I
only think of Kyle Petty when I think of Mellow Yellow or Days of Thunder.
think of Kyle Petty, No Fear Racing.
Yeah, man.
Geez.
That's bottom for me. It's kind of in the same boat as Mountain Dew, personally, in my opinion. So it just doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I've only probably drank it once. If it's next to a Mountain Dew, I'm grabbing the Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Mountain Dew, Diet Mountain Dew.
Oh, that's top tier. That's probably my favorite one out of all these.
Yeah. If I liked Mountain Dew, that would be the one I would drink.
I actually
but I don't care for it.
I got a little upset when I went to go get a fountain drink and I saw the little Diet Mountain Dew thing and it wasn't lit up, so I couldn't get any.
Oh, yeah.
Bad day.
So that's the end of the list here. Obviously, a lot of regions have their own drinks. In our area here that I'm in North Carolina, Cheerwine's a big deal, and that's a top tier drink. Honestly, Cheerwine's amazing. It's a cherry flavored soda. Is all it really is, but it's really good.
We have Big Red. I noticed is the thing. And
I've heard of that, but I've never had it.
It's sweet. It's sweet.
Well, Cheerwine has a distinct taste too. I mean, I would describe it as a cherry soda, but like your cherry flavored soda, it's a little slightly different tasting. I don't know what they're doing there.
And then up north would be, what is it? Verner's.
Yeah, we also have Sundrop, is a big deal here. My uncle was
Sundrop.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge here. Sundrop.
That's grapefruit, right?
It's to me personally, it's like in the same boat as Mellow Yellow and all this.
Okay, because then there's we never did Squirt.
Oh,
have you drank that? Sounds
what a sentence. You're right, Andrew. We never did Squirt. We're gonna get a we're gonna get an E for explicit on this episode.
I'm not putting an E on this because
It's
we're
your fault.
because of our audience's dirty mind. Some of our all of our most, or I don't know, because somebody out
Just
there
don't.
does have a dirty mind there.
We're telling you now. Do not put that sentence in your search bar. Just don't do it. But I haven't had much squirt.
I think it's a middle tier. It's something I got to be in the boot.
I
You know what? I'm
honestly
done.
I honestly can't say. I really truly can't say.
Squirt
I know
the grape pop.
And I'm also going to say, let's put in like, when you go through the grocery store and that store has its own brand of stuff.
Oh yeah,
That's my favorite thing is to discover these. We have Food Lion around here. That's like the major one that I usually get my groceries from. And my current favorite, I'm not even making this up. My current favorite thing to drink right now is a diet Dr. Perky.
Dr. Perky.
That's what it's called. It's, to me, in my opinion, it's better than Dr. Pepper. So,
What? Oh yeah, because what's the Walmart versions? There's
it's got a name. Yeah.
Dr.
It's got a
Thunder.
Dr. Thunder's one I've heard. Yeah.
Um,
I just love the names of them too. Dr. Perk is by far the best name though.
my favorite, it was a normal one. It was up in the Western New York area. We have Tops, and it was
Yeah.
it was the grape.
Yeah.
Tops
Oh
grape
man,
pop.
let's do grape soda real quick. I think it's another that's top tier for me. I don't get it very often, so I love it when I get it.
There's the Fanta.
Yeah, grape Fanta's really good.
That's really good. What other ones are there? Trying to
For grape sodas, grape Fanta's probably the big one, right?
Crush.
Yeah.
Crush is
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, I don't get it very much. Well, I mean, I don't get grape drinks in general very much, but I do like them.
Bill Burr does the one joke that nobody gets, where he's like, "The orange crush tastes like it did back in 1960 something," and nobody got the joke. And he's like, "It tasted different."
And also one of my favorite things to do, we done it on Retro Bliss, cheap plug from my other podcast. That is coming back, by the way. We're set to record this week. We are one time there are like mom and pop soda shops that you can go to in my area, and they do like they'll have like just random flavors of soda like you just wouldn't think of. And I wish I could remember what they were, but we did a taste test once because Trevor got like a handful of different flavors. Most of them were god awful, which is the way of Retro Bliss. If we try something, it's almost never good.
I don't think it's underneath like a soda or a pop, but then there's Loganberry. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so I don't even know how to explain it. It's Loganberry. I have no idea how to explain Loganberry to anybody.
Is it a soda or is it? You said it's kind of like a off soda or something.
Yeah, I don't think it has too much carbonation in it. And the big one was Aunt Rosie's. How do you explain?
Loganberry is a drink. It's a plant. Like a Loganberry itself isn't actually a plant, but I am seeing Loganberry drink here.
Yeah, it's
I just Googled it just to look.
hybrid of blackberry and raspberry.
See, that'd be weird for me. I don't like blackberry, but I love raspberry.
I didn't even know it had that in there. I've been drinking it for years.
It's a non-carbonated fruit drink that is a cross between ripe and tasty blackberries and red raspberries.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it tastes anything like that. It's just very nice berry taste.
And it was inspired by the legendary amusement park once nestled on the shores of Lake Erie above the roar of the mighty Niagara Falls. I'm just reading from Google here. Well, from loganberry.com.
Yeah, that's because there's Crystal Beach.
Yeah,
Aunt
PJ's
Rosie.
Crystal Beach Loganberry.
Yeah,
Is it mostly a New York drink, I would assume, like up in there?
I think so because
it's a popular beverage in Western New York and Southern Ontario.
did you have any local like pop soda makers?
Honestly, Cheerwine started out as that here.
Okay.
It was like a local drink that was mainly in North Carolina, and I think maybe some South Carolina. Have a distinct memory of somebody saying, "Hey, you can get cheer wine in South Carolina now." Like that was a big deal when I was growing up because it was considered like a local North Carolina drink, honestly. But I think it's starting to grow a little bit more. I think they're starting to fish out a little bit. If you have a chance of trying a cheer of wine, I think it's one of those drinks you either really like or you won't like. I just personally, especially because they do like diet zeros of it now, so I can drink it. Because if you get the original cheer wine, it is 100. That will smash you in the face with sugar.
So we had our local this was actually made right in Niagara Falls, was Johnny Ryan.
Yeah, great first name. Yeah.
They used to sell 2 liters and they come out with like weird flavors. And then
Uh-huh.
all of a sudden they kind of scaled that down. And then the other one was, I think it's more of a Michigan thing, is Fago. Made famous,
I haven't heard of that one. Yeah.
made famous by the Insane Clown Posse.
I've heard of them.
Yeah. If you ever go to one of your concerts, they spray a lot of Fago.
Oh, ICP. They used to be in WCW.
Yeah, they were with the oddities.
Yeah.
And that's how old we are.
Yeah, there was a guy. His name was his wrestling name was Hugh Morris, and it got changed to Captain Erection or something like that.
Yeah,
General Erection or Major
Erection.
Erection. Something. I think it's Major Erection. It had to be that. It had to be that for that wordplay.
Yeah, it's Vince Russo. Yeah,
That's
Johnny Ryan offers,
bro.
Johnny Ryan offers such flavors as cola, lemon up, root beer, cream soda, orange, loganberry, iced tea with lemon. I don't remember seeing that. Lemonade, cherry, grape, citrus stew, because gotta watch what we say.
Yeah.
And pepper.
Pepper. Oh, like Dr. Pepper. Yeah. Yeah.
Pepper.
This one just didn't go to college.
It's his brother. It's his brother.
Like when the parents would talk about me, one of the Peppers is a doctor. The other one, he works from home.
Like one of my favorite parts in Step Brother, when they're like, "So why didn't Dale do anything?" Oh, he just said that he was just going to get into the family business. Aren't you a medical doctor? Don't you have to go to college for that? That's what I told him, but he says it's all in who you know.
In fairness, he's not completely wrong. It is knowing people does help a lot. I mean, the best job I ever had, I was not qualified for it. I only got it because I knew the people and they liked me. But it was a good job for a good while.
I think that is it.
I think we did it. Yeah.
We've tiered. We've talked about, I don't know what side you go on, what the audience wants to say, if it was an injustice or,
yeah,
as they say on ESPN, come on, man, type situation. But
back in the day, I would think most people would go against the big corporation, but nowadays I think that's kind of changing a little bit. So I don't really know what people think. Go on our Facebook page, Nostalgia Funhouse. Let us know. What do you think? Which side are you on? Are you on this the college person side, or are you on Pepsi side here?
Yes, please go check that out. Go check out our Patreon also.
Yeah, slowly growing. We've doubled in size.
We have doubled in size. Shout out to our Patreon members. You know who you are.
Yeah, both of you. Thank you.
Go check out the YouTube channel, Facebook page, and every Sunday on the BICBP Radio Network, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. And
if you enjoy this show, it's a great way to support us. It's cheap. You get exclusive audio. Yes. And just so you know, Andrew just putting so much into the show that he had to get a nighttime job just to pay for this show. That's how in the hole we are. So help a man out, right? Andrew honestly works really hard on this stuff. So give us a hand. And I can't even start taking a piece of the pie until we have an actual pie. So
we're almost there.
Yeah, we'll have a full pie. Right now we have like a couple bites.
I think we have enough to get 300 Pepsi points.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
So we could get like, like a cool hat or something.
Hey, I like cool hats. Oh, another thing too, we've discussed this. I'm not sure when we're going to start doing it. I'm assuming soon. So make sure you go to the YouTube. What's the YouTube, Andrew?
It's just I put it right in the link when you go to the Facebook page. To what is that? When I put up the episode, but it's just look up the Nostalgia Funhouse. You'll find us right
Yeah,
there.
go to our subscribe to that because that and on Facebook we haven't decided which one we're going to do. We're going to start doing some exclusive and fun live streams. So make sure you stay tuned for that. We got some really fun ideas for those.
Yes, but yep. Yeah, just look up the Nostalgia Funhouse right there, YouTube and Facebook, and go check out those. And with that being said, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
Insert really funny joke here, please.